as Prince Harry moved from partner to manservant in his relationship with Meghan Markle. The couple celebrated their 8-year wedding anniversary, and there were some peculiarities in the video Meghan Markle chose to share on Instagram, starting with Harry bringing in the cake and singing "Happy Anniversary" to Mama. And then Meghan kind of rushes it at the end and goes, "And Papa," because when it comes to an anniversary, generally two people celebrate that moment. But instead, it always seems like Harry is the one who has to worship Meghan, and he has become increasingly, seemingly, her manservant on their various ventures. And you even see this a little bit, I would argue, in the picture she shared with Lilibet, with Meghan standing proudly and Lilibet on the floor, seemingly worshiping her mother's feet. There's some really interesting dynamics we can read into as Harry and Meghan, yes, they celebrate 8 years, but has it really been wedded bliss, or has it been a bit of misery as well? So guys, we are going to get into all of this today. But if you haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary, so please hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. And I usually do these videos where you can see me, but I have been under the weather the last couple of days and could not quite muster to put myself on screen. So we are going to do the video this way, but it kind of fits because we got to go through and share some pictures and videos. So guys, I think this is going to work out well. And we also have a wonderful and amazing sponsor today, Cowboy Colostrum. So guys, go ahead and check out this video. This is one that if you didn't see this last week, y'all, you missed out. So go ahead and take a watch here and let me know your thoughts, because this was an awful lot of fun. Guys, this spring, if you're ready to finally see real results, healthier gut, glowing skin, stronger hair, and steady energy, you need to add colostrum to your daily routine. It all starts in the gut. And once your gut is right, everything else follows. Today's sponsor, like I said, is Cowboy Colostrum, which offers the highest quality bovine, that's cow colostrum, available in the U.S. Cowboy Colostrum is 100% made in America from 100% American grass-fed cows. And unlike other colostrum brands, Cowboy Colostrum is true first-day whole colostrum, rich in bioactives like immunoglobulins and growth factors. And don't worry at all, Cowboy Colostrum only collects the surplus from the moms after the baby calves have had their fill. And this is not processed or stripped down. Cowboy Colostrum offers whole, full fat, and high in protein colostrum for the ultimate nutrient density, making it the highest quality bovine colostrum you can buy. So this helps improve gut health, which improves everything else: immunity, hair growth, skin clarity, stronger nails, steady energy, and reduced bloating. And the results aren't just something you read about. They're something you can actually see and feel. There are multiple different flavors, including chocolate, which I have, and Madagascar vanilla, matcha, strawberry, that you can put into your coffee or smoothie or milk like I'm doing and enjoy. So for a limited time, our listeners can get up to 25% off their entire order. Just head to cowboycolostrum.com/royal. Use code ROYAL at checkout. That's 25% off when you use code ROYAL at cowboycolostrum.com/royal. Thank you so much, Cowboy Colostrum, for sponsoring today's video. And this is one where I have a lot of diverging thoughts, or many thoughts, you could say. And that's one of the things that is sometimes challenging, is how do you divest all these thoughts into one video, especially with the title and everything. And what I came to kind of quickly as I was looking through is this idea of Harry moving from partner to manservant in Meghan Markle's ecosphere, because Harry has given up every single aspect of his life. He's given up his biological family. He's given away his home country, his former job, and so much of his life to cater to what his wife wants and his wife's vision for life. Because you cannot tell me at all that Prince Harry ever thought in a million years he would be living in Montecito, California 8 years after marrying Meghan Markle. I don't think that was ever even in the slightest in the cards for him. And for those, or Harry, who thinks that this was like a joint decision as a couple to make, oh, no. This was, of course, a Meghan Markle guided and managed decision. And as Harry has given up aspects of his life and his identity to his wife, he has increasingly become her seemingly manservant, there to serve her. So let's begin with the anniversary video from Instagram, because boy, oh boy, was it weird. Because in the beginning, we have Prince Harry walking around with a cake with 4 candles on it, which my mom was like, why 4? They've been married 8 years. I'm going to guess maybe it's the amount in their family or whatever. And he's singing happy anniversary to Meghan. So go ahead and take a watch here.
Happy anniversary to and Papa.
And guys, Meghan does at the end quickly go, and Papa, but it's very clear here, at least in my opinion, that Harry was either told or encouraged or whatever to walk out with this cake and these candles, and that it was the focus on Meghan Markle within this anniversary, rather than them as a couple. And I find that a little disturbing, because it should be them as a couple. You guys are celebrating 8 years together. It's not just Harry, it's Harry and Meghan, but it was clearly just Harry there. He had the cake. He was serving it to her so that they could have this blowout candle moment and happy anniversary with the kids, in the background, which I also thought was just a little bit strange. Because again, we can't see the kids, but we can hear the kids. The kids can be interacting. And it's one of these things where this is the challenge with, I think, being an influencer, you could say, which is that, yes, you are, by happenstance, supposed to share aspects of your life. But at the same time, this feels incredibly awkward and incredibly staged. It feels so fake. And we didn't really need to see this. Just a little, nod to it would have been great. But no. Meghan has to do a whole video, a bunch of pictures shared, which I had thoughts on, and we'll get to. But I just thought that was really, really odd.
I love you.
Blow them! Blow them!
Yay!
Yeah!
So apparently in the next video, Harry is the one who does get to blow out the candles. So I guess he had some sort of role in this as the kids cheered him on. But again, it just comes across to me as incredibly awkward and forced. Again, you have to figure out, I think, as an influencer, where to draw the line in personal things. And I feel like Meghan just doesn't quite know how to do that. And she's, again, very much fitting an Instagram role from 10, 15, 20 years ago, it feels like. Instagram's probably not 20 years old, but you get my sense that it's just, there's a level of awkwardness there. The I love you feels staged. And again, they're trying to have this family celebration. And what is she doing? She's in front of it with the phone the entire time, making sure to get the video so she can get it on Instagram. Got to wonder, too, how many times did they do this before they got it right? Because, again, that's the challenge with Instagram influencers, is that everything becomes about the performance for the camera. Not everybody does this, but a decent amount of people do. And I think Meghan Markle definitely is.
Oh my god!
So next we have the unveiling of the penguins. And oh my gosh, her squeal at the beginning, again, feels incredibly forced. And who has the camera? That's my question. Who has the camera and is watching and recording this? Is it one of the kids recording this? Because we all need to see Meghan Markle obsess over this pair of penguins. And I guess it apparently represents that for their engagement party with their bestest of friends. I don't know how many of them they actually talk to anymore. That they came dressed up, I guess, as mated animals or something. And Harry and Meghan went as penguins, because penguins mate for life. Again, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the divorce goes through and all of a sudden they're no longer this magical, epical love story that they always claim to be. And very, very important to note as well that guess what is burning in the background? Why, it's one of Meghan Markle's candles, the one that represents their wedding date, which she is selling, and she sold on As Ever with an ad going, smell like our wedding date. Because, that's what people want. Again, the such idiotic thing with Meghan Markle's candles. I think they could sell probably fairly well, but they're hampered by this it's about my birthday. It's about my wedding day. It's about my kids' birthdays now. And it's like, Meghan Markle, why do you think people want to smell like you and your wedding date and your kids? Why do you think people want to smell that? It's actually very hard to sell that way. And it's very dumb. It's not a good business plan to go, oh, smell like my kids, smell like my husband, and smell like me or whatever. It's just that's just not going to, that's just, there's not a market for that. Like, what are you thinking?
This is when Mama and Papa, when we...
It's weird because she's telling this story about engagement to her children, but also to us, the audience. And that's where it becomes exceptionally weird. This is no longer a private family moment. It's designed for public consumption. And if it delves into this realm of like, if I was Prince Harry, I'd put my foot down and go, no, we're not doing this. No, this is our day. We're not sharing this with the world. What are you talking about? Why are we making this video just sheerly for public consumption? And why are you so excited about the penguins for public consumption? Because I imagine she got something else much nicer than the dumb penguin statue, which she probably doesn't care about that much. And so it's just becomes one of those really weird things. And we had to, of course, see what the kids gave them for their anniversary as well. And again, you're commoditizing the children. You are leveraging them to sell your wares. It's just kind of disgusting.
When we got engaged, we had a party with all of our friends, and we said everyone wore an animal onesie, and we were penguins.
So again, I have a question. Who in the world is recording this video? Is the assistant, is the housekeeper forced to record this video as Meghan Markle explains this to us, which we didn't really need an explanation for, but whatever, right?
We were penguins because they're together for life.
So I guess maybe Harry is holding it because he then gets the kiss, and the kids seem to be not giving a crap about any of this. They're off in their own thing. We have to get the obligatory kiss shot in their kind of ugly and dated kitchen, and then we get the close-up, the one and only, it says. And we had to, again, also get a picture of Harry and Meghan in these penguin onesies. And then also somehow, magically, Meghan Markle gets this card from the British Airways flight, I guess she took. Because, again, she has to try to reestablish those British connections, man. So apparently somebody figured out, it might have been according to Taz, I think, that you can pay basically for British Airways to do this for you. So it's just not like super exciting. It's really kind of dumb. And why do you need to tell us this? And looking back at all the pictures that she posted, I think some of them we maybe have seen before, but some of them not quite so much. And there's one picture in particular that kind of got to me, and that was when they're like close to smooching and she's like grabbing his face and he looks drunk as a skunk, like with his mouth open. It's like super awkward. I was like, why are you sharing this picture? They shared another one where they're waving for people to come out on the crowd. And to be fair, Meghan Markle's eyes aren't open or whatever, but it just kind of comes across, I think, as really awkward. And Meghan posts another collage series and calls it Forever Your Girl, from official, mostly black and white photos from their wedding. And I just found that, again, to be really awkward, a lot of the pictures. And it's one of those things where you're actually removing the mystique from the monarchy, because part of the monarchy's appeal is the mystique it has. And so when you do these kind of things, you're kind of removing that critical mystique aspect of it and kind of downgrading it into something that's rather dull and pedestrian, and making yourselves look dull and pedestrian. But this idea of Harry as Meghan's manservant, you know, as I look through photos, I come across it quite a bit. Sometimes maybe not as much as I would think exists, but there was, especially during their tour in Australia, like he was full on opening car doors for her as if she was the principal and he was security. And that's not his job. It's actually probably making their security officials, it's making it more challenging for them to actually manage the people they're supposed to protect, because he needs to do all these things for her, I think, to make her happy. And the thing is, I don't think Meghan Markle is particularly happy most of the time. I think she's particularly probably quite miffed at a lot of things because these last 8 years, guys, you would think, and what's interesting, I forgot to mention, what's interesting about showing all the old pictures from their wedding is that they're reminding us of all this, allegedly glorious day that they had. But what about the last 8 years? Why not post pictures, a handful of pictures that you've taken throughout the last couple of years? Why only focus on your wedding? And I think it's Meghan Markle's attempt to get the public back to seeing her in her glory at that wedding, how glorious that wedding was, how exciting it was, all these things. That's what Harry and Meghan, or at least in this particular instance, Meghan wants us to focus on, whereas Catherine and William give us updated pictures of their families. We don't really get a callback picture. Now, I wouldn't mind, say one day seeing like a little short video behind the scenes of their wedding, but I think what strikes me is that William and Catherine are always looking to the present and the future, whereas Meghan Markle posting all these old wedding pictures, it seems like all she can do is look to the past. And why she's doing that, I think, is because these last 8 years have sucked in a lot of ways. They've had their dreams just totally collapse in front of them because Meghan Markle, I think, truly thought if she went to Hollywood the way she thought she would with Harry, they would be welcomed with the open arms, which technically they were, and they would just walk from success to success in the entertainment industry, and that people would love and adore them, and that she would get everything she wanted out of her role. And that just didn't happen. Harry and Meghan had a success or two, but then a ton of failure after that. The Netflix thing didn't go as well as I thought it would. Their futures in Hollywood are looking quite bleak at this point. They have a ton of things, quote unquote, in development, but nothing in production. And the situation with the monarchy has been particularly bad as well. And yes, Meghan somewhat doesn't care about that, but I think she's also realizing that the monarchy is actually what matters more at the end of the day, because I've always made the analogy that the monarchy is like a solar system. The star is the crown. And if you leave the crown behind, you leave that star power behind as well. And while they were able to keep some of that when they were initially in California, most of that has rubbed off because, as it turns out, they weren't particularly talented. Because as an actress, Meghan Markle was a middling talent. She had one successful role, and that was it. Everything else was bit parts, just like Hot Girl or something. She was not a great success in the entertainment industry, and she thought a royal title would magically change that, and it really hasn't. She hasn't been the great success that she thought she would be, and I think increasingly, in order to appease her, Harry has to kind of downgrade himself and degrade himself in order to please her, because he's taken a back seat so much in comparison to her. And yes, he is not the brains of the operation, no doubt about that, but he is the reason anybody shows up. What's an interesting thing to think about with Meghan Markle's Geneva appearance completely flatlining is that Harry wasn't there. The biggest difference between what happened in Australia and what happened in Switzerland was that her husband was there in Australia. And on her own, what do you know? Meghan can't attract a crowd. She cannot get people to get their butts in seats. People ignore her. And so that's got to be a huge blow to the ego. And Harry has to, I think, constantly degrade himself in order for Meghan to feel superior in the dynamic. And sadly, too, I think that extends to the children as well. It's just hard to ignore in that picture on Instagram Meghan Markle posted of herself looking in the mirror with Lilibet on the floor is that the little girl looked subservient to Meghan, and Meghan looked like the proud, empress, making demands over somebody else lower on the tier than her. It was honestly, the composition of the picture is quite horrific when you think about it, because it just didn't look loving. It didn't look motherly. It didn't look like mama's little helper. It looked like mama's little servant. Hate to say it that way, but that's just kind of how you can read it. And Meghan doesn't need to put these images out there, but she chooses to. She doesn't need Harry to constantly hold her hand. Yet she chooses to do that because she wants to portray this particular image. And unfortunately, the particular image is not as successful as I think Meghan Markle had hoped it would be. This post-royal life has not been as successful as Meghan Markle had hoped it would be, because she wanted to be seen as this great success she always thought she was, but reality came back to bite her in the butt. And no matter how much Harry, let's say, debases himself in order to make it look like Meghan Markle is the queen in her own mind, unfortunately, the reality is, when it came to Geneva, that she is second fiddle. She is second fiddle in this royal life, and her husband will always be more popular than she is, and she will always be what she always was, which was a D-list actress who happened to find a dim husband to marry. And it doesn't make up for the fact that she's not a particularly talented person. And so she'll continue to struggle. They'll continue to live in a level of misery and continue to live in a house that desperately looks like it needs an update, but they're too cheap to do. So guys, let me know what you think of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Cowboy Colostrum, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.